Welcome to my kitchen. We're baking a cake today. A bourbon buttercream chocolate cake covered in mini chocolate bars. Let's get going. This recipe is unique in that it uses mayonnaise. It sounds very weird. If it tastes terrible, we'll just drink a little bit more bourbon. We're using 1 ounce of mayonnaise and all of our butter. Butter, mayo, check. It's looking great. It's gotten a lot lighter in color. It's nice and fluffy in the bowl. So the next step is just incorporating this chocolate. And now we're gonna add in 1 cup increments about 1 pound of powdered sugar. And mixing in between. A little bit of vanilla. Pinch of salt. 2 tablespoons of bourbon. And a taste. It's nice and light in color. I don't taste the bourbon at all. So 1 more pinch of salt, tiny bit more bourbon. I'm gonna go for 2 more tablespoons and that should be great. Okay, 1 last taste. You can taste a hint of the bourbon. It doesn't taste alcoholic, it just tastes kind of smoky. I think it's really good, and I'm really pleased with this texture. So we're gonna get these into a couple containers and toss it in the fridge. Okay, we have 2 prepared cake tins. I'm gonna toss these over on a cookie sheet so they're ready for us when we are ready for them. I also preheated my oven to 350 degrees, so it's on the way up. And now we're gonna start on the cake. This cake actually incorporates the ingredients in a way that I'm not used to. I'll link the recipe down below. But it incorporates the, excuse me, that's our oven preheated. It incorporates the sugar as one of the dry ingredients. And traditionally I'm used to sugar being a wet ingredient. I have no idea why, I'm not a professional. But sugar normally goes in with the wet ingredients. But in this recipe, it goes in with the dry ingredients. So we're gonna measure all of the dry ingredients into our mixer bowl. Give them a little whisk around, add the wet ingredients, and we're done. So I'm gonna use my kitchen scale, just keep my mixer bowl right on top of it. 240 grams or 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 cups or 396 grams of sugar. 63 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm using dark cocoa powder. We'll see how that goes. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And while it does give the gram measurements, 8 grams, it's probably easier for me to control the amount of baking powder by just measuring it. So 2 teaspoons. 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. A teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of espresso powder. Espresso powder is something that is pretty commonly found in chocolate cakes. Coffee really sets off the taste of chocolate. They work very well together in a baked good. So I'm gonna add a little bit more for that reason. Okay, that's our dry ingredients. This is gonna go into the mixer. While that's combining, I'm gonna switch out for the wet ingredients. Cup of buttermilk. 1/2 cup of oil goes in. Calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but I measure vanilla with my heart, so that's probably a tablespoon. And then I am gonna add just a splash of bourbon just to say it's in there. So next up, cracking a couple eggs. These are store-bought eggs, not from my neighbor's yard chickens. So I'm pretty confident cracking them directly into the batter. Make a little bit of a mess. It's not a party until you make a mess. Add this to our dry ingredients and we're gonna mix until combined. While that's mixing, I'm gonna measure out 1 cup of boiling water. This is well combined. It's now time for the last step, which is adding in 1 cup of boiling water quite slowly. So I'm gonna turn the mixer on just a really low speed for this step and stream in our boiling water. Okay, I've just scraped down the sides of the bowl. I'm gonna give it a quick taste. That's really good. I like the dark chocolate in there. It tastes really good. Cake batter, it's hard to tell exactly how the cake will turn out from the batter, but it tastes really good. I did have to triple check my recipe though. So look how loose this cake batter is. It's almost like soup. The recipe does clarify though that that is correct and it will make the most beautiful and delicious chocolate cake ever. So I'm gonna give it a go. There we go, ready to go in the oven. Again, my oven is at 350 degrees. The recipe says between 30 and 35 minutes. But if I've learned anything, it's when you tweak the size of the pan, you also tweak the cook time. So I expect these to take a little bit longer than that. That's our timer. We were in for 30 minutes and I'm starting to be able to smell the cake. I would be surprised if it was done now, but we'll give it a shot. Very raw still. Back in the oven. And I'm gonna set the timer this time, I think for another 5 and see, but I'll be back here with you in a minute. Let's see if it's done. We went 30 minutes and then I set that last timer for 10 more minutes. A couple things. First, we're looking for them to pull away from the sides of the pan. Then we're looking to touch them and have them spring back, not leave a finger indentation. I can smell them, which is always a good indication that things are progressing in the right way. And then we're gonna use our cake tester. This is just a skewer. You could use a toothpick, you could use an actual cake tester, you could use a knife, but again, a knife will create a little hole in your cake. So we're looking for this bad boy to come out clean. Looks pretty good to me. Take these off the cookie sheet, put them on a rack. I'm actually done for the day. I'm gonna let these guys cool. I'm gonna cover them with a kitchen towel and I'm gonna pick this back up tomorrow. It's time to frost our cake. Since this is a relatively tall cake, I'm just gonna try to do my best to create as flat of layers as I possibly can so that it will sit well together and we won't risk any slipping or sliding. Start gently taking the top layer off. Just continue spinning and slide all the way through. And so I'm going to cut the cake in half now, which involves something very similar. You eyeball halfway with your serrated knife and hold your knife parallel to your bench or whatever you're cutting on. And just gently twist the cake. And there we go. Centered as much as possible. A little bit of buttercream on the first layer. I'm trying to put an even layer of frosting that's not too thick, something that will create a stable base for the rest of the cake layers to sit on top of. Repeat. Okay, that looks great. Cake number 3 goes down. Being very gentle when I load buttercream onto the cut parts of the cake. I don't want to tug or pull, I just want to gently spread. If you tug or pull, there's a chance that you can rip a hole in your cake. It's looking way better. Perfect. Okay, now we can load a little bit more buttercream on. And we're going to cover the whole thing. Perfect. We did pretty good. This is the crumb coat done and dusted, and we're gonna put it back in the fridge to harden up a little bit, maybe 15 minutes, and we're gonna apply a second coat. That quick trip into the fridge allowed me to set up some of my decorations. We'll get to this in a minute, but first we've got to toss this buttercream on this cake. This is what we're working with so far. So it's not perfect, but we do have a pretty smooth surface with all this candy. I think what I'd like to do is not cover the whole thing, but maybe do kind of like a cascade down one of the sides. Try to get some interesting angles. See if I can't make something beautiful. We have a cake. It is very extra, which is perfect because my friend is also very extra. If you liked this cake idea, first go try to recreate it And second, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to my channel. Thank you.